this was the day that we came before Kelly came here. So it was just my husband and I and my son. And we were overwhelmed really with the facility and the staffing. And but when we reached a room and we were led into it and said this would be Kelly's room, that was the thing that was the most overwhelming for me, when the doctor said, and this will be Kelly's room. And I kind of lost it at that point, you know, because we were at our wits' end at that point. We were caring for Kelly for a long time, and sort of running out of experience of knowing what to do, and tired, you know, really tired.
Dad had been at the hospital for months, and while they were doing their utmost and they were taking the best care of him possible, this place is a whole other level. It looked like home. It felt like a home. And we knew that he would be much happier here and much more comfortable here and have much more dignity here, I think.
The dignity was important, and for a shy man, this was fantastic. Like having his own room and having his family around was great.
Yeah, not sharing a room.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for him. Yeah.
I mean, in the hospital there was him and a woman, or two people that didn't even want to look at each other, sort of thing. So it was difficult at the hospital.
Yeah.
Kelly was a very outgoing young woman. She was born with Down syndrome, and has always lived with us. And but she did her best at everything she tried to do, and she's very outgoing with people. She loved people, and she had great supports in her life, and ended up with a very good job for about 12 years. She had two jobs, one for 14 years at Wendy's restaurant, and then 12 years at Knightsbridge Robertson Surratt. And she enjoyed working, and she enjoyed everything about life. And in her 40s, she became different. She was losing her memory, and took a little while to get that diagnosed and stuff. But she wanted to keep working, and her employer wanted her to work as long as she wanted to be there. But in the end, she decided herself she wanted to retire.
Dad was funny. He was hilarious. Sometimes he was the only one who thought he was funny, but he was really funny. He told the worst jokes in the world, but he loved telling them, so you always laughed. He loved music. He loved the outdoors. Like Mom mentioned, going fishing, going for hikes in the woods, bike rides. I remember going for bike rides with him as a kid, my brother and my sister and I, every weekend almost. And he loved animals. He loved his pets, and later on our pets. He adored his grandchildren and his children, and now he has a great-grandchild who he never met, but he would just be tickled pink with that with that little boy.
She had one very special day while she was here. Unfortunately, she didn't like to be moved, so she couldn't take part in everything here. But she did go to the garden party, and a specialized wheelchair here, they got her in that, excuse me. And she went out, and she saw the beautiful woman that was singing and playing the music, and she just didn't take her eyes off of her the whole way through. And she really, really loved that day, and I'm glad she had that.
So when he got here, he was in heaven. The only thing that he kept on asking is, how much is this going to cost us? This is the best place in the world.
Yeah.
And he couldn't figure out why. It was free.
He said, we must have won the lotto or something. Yeah. So we must have won a draw. That was his.
Yeah.
Because at that point, in his illness, his memory wasn't quite all there, so he didn't quite understand how this was working, that he got to come to this resort, he thought.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
And once he found out that the food was free and the care for him and myself even was free, and there was a room for family members from away to stay in, he said, "Oh my goodness, you're never going to be able to pay this bill."
Yeah, yeah.
And the acupuncture and massage and having somebody to talk to when I was grieving, because I knew for quite a while that he wasn't going to come home ever. And by the time we got here, I knew he didn't have much time left. So I was grieving ahead of time, and having somebody, a grief counselor there, was great. And when he asked for it, the priest came to him, and that was also fantastic. Anywhere else, it would have been days before it would happen, or it would have been somebody from another religion, and that's not what he wanted. He wanted a Roman Catholic so he could have the last rite.
While Callie was here, she was nonverbal. She only reacted to a couple of people in the family. But then a lot of the staff are very cheery when they come in, and she responded really well to that. One of the employees, Carrie, she's a Newfoundland young lady, and she teased Callie and carried on with her, and she responded great to that as well. But one of the people that really impressed me was the cleaning staff. She would be here early every morning. And there were nights that I went home and I came in early in the morning and tried to be here before Callie woke up, and I could always find Joanne kind of in the hallway outside the room or in the room cleaning and keeping an eye, so that when Callie woke up she could let the nurse know she was awake and stuff. And that was wonderful for me. Another nurse, first night we were here, we were pretty well exhausted. My husband said, "Why don't we go home? We're going to have to be here overnight a lot of times. So why don't we go home tonight and get a rest and come back in the morning." And he got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He came in at 4 o'clock in the morning because he couldn't sleep. He was worrying about what if Callie wakes up and nobody's with her. So he came in, and the nurse's name was Ellen. She was so wonderful to him. He apologized for coming so early in the morning. And she said, no, come in. And she sat down, she took him down to see Callie and told him that she had been resting, comfortably. And they talked for a while, and then he came home, and he was okay then. So those were really important times for us,
The last time he'd been outside was March in the snow on the way from the house to the ambulance to get him to the hospital. And that's not good. So when we got here, it was raining for a few days, but the first day that it was a sunny day, they put him in the chair in his room and brought him outside onto the patio. And you could just see in his face the relief and the joy at being out in the sun. We all he stayed out for hours.
He fell asleep out there.
He fell asleep out there. Even if cars drive, it didn't matter. He was so happy just to be out in the sun. And the smile on his face was just priceless. It was amazing. So that brought so much back to him. Just everything that happened here brought so much back to him that he felt like he had lost. We were able to bring our pets in. Like my dogs came in and sat on the bed with him. You can't do that in a hospital. It was just so much brought back to him that he felt like he had lost, and we felt like he would not get to see again or get to do again. So it was just wonderful.
The difference between us caring for Kelly at home and caring here was the load was lifted off our shoulders. You know, when things happened that we had no experience with and trying to figure out what was wrong, we had an answer here. And somebody else was taking care of her. We could sit and socialize with her and not necessarily be the nurse and the lifter, and you know, there was always help there for us. So we felt Kelly was so much more comfortable here than she was at home. You know, we weren't able to get the equipment at our house that we needed. It was on order, but we never weren't able to get it in time. And so here, everything was here. It was wonderful. And we could also allow other people to come to see Kelly, and you know, it was convenient for us. We live in Halifax, so everybody, most of my family are in this area, and they were able to get in. And I'm not sure if you're still serving people throughout Nova Scotia, but that's an important thing for people to know. If there's not one in your area, Halifax Hospice is pretty well it. One new one opened up in Annapolis, but anybody that's, you know, in the province can apply to come here.
The hospice care is fantastic. I mean, and yeah, they do need money to keep it going, but it's unforgettable how good. And when after he passed, everybody just lined the hall with candles so that he'd have
Honor.
An honor guard all the way to the
front door.
To the front door.
It wasn't out.
No.
Some kind of elevator in the back or something. It was through the front door, and that meant a lot.
Yeah. The care and the way things went was just fantastic. And I think the only reason I'm able to still smile is we had been ready for it, we had discussed what would happen, but we never knew of a place like this. And this place was, I hope I can end up here when the day comes.
But knowing that he felt comfortable and he felt dignity and he felt cared for and peaceful here made it much easier on us as well. It was easier for him, but it was also much easier on the whole family.
And I could sleep in the same room with him, right beside him. So that to him was just fantastic. He couldn't believe that this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I'm Susan Slomwhite. I'm the mother of Kelly Slomwhite, who was a patient here at Hospice Halifax back in August and September of 2019. I'm forgetting the years now.
Okay.
My name is Rena McNeil, and my husband Blair was here for the last weeks of his life, and he absolutely enjoyed his stay here, right to the last minute.
Okay. My name is Louise, and my father Blair was a patient and a family member here at Hospice Halifax.
This is hospice care.
This is hospice care.
No, I like this. So you've already done the other one, eh?
I haven't.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
I did.
Yeah, I'll do that one tomorrow. Giving Tuesday is December 1st. It's an internationally recognized day for charitable giving, and we ask that you show your generosity by helping to support Hospice Halifax. Our family received excellent care here at Hospice Halifax with no charges for the services provided. By donating, you can help to ensure that those services continue for families like ours. Please show your support at hospicehalifax.ca.